Invincible has a problem. I've been a big fan of Invincible when season 1 dropped. I read the comics, I was really into it, and that 2021 time period. However, I think this video that I'm making now, especially for me, has been a long time coming. Over the last couple years, I've been pretty, disappointed with the output of the show. And when I say that, I don't mean the how long it's taken. I mean the animation quality, the adaptation as a whole, and even then, also I've just the way people describe the show. I think a lot of the ratings it's got, some of the way people act like it's the greatest show ever. There's so much that has happened with this show over the last couple years. Like, it's evolved and changed and gone so much bigger and so much bigger. And I was wanting to make a video after season 1, and then after season 2 came out, I wanted to make a video about how I wasn't happy with it, never got around to it. Season 3 came along, kind of the same feeling I had, that I wanted to make a video and never got to it. Now season 4 is released, and I'm kind of at that point where I want to make a video and talk about it, especially because it doesn't seem like any of these issues that I'm going to mention are going to be fixed. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think they're going to be fixed, because my thought process was that if they were going to be fixed, season 4 or 3, I mean even 3 was like maybe not 3 they should have been fixed, but season 4 you would expect some big changes to happen, but no. And it doesn't seem like they're going to change what they're doing, because the season 5 comes out January next year, I think maybe the same month this year, next year. So look, I've been wanting to make this video for a while, is pretty much what I'm saying. Invincible has been a real big mix of things for me. When Invincible first came out in 2021, when I had heard about it from a couple YouTubers, and I heard some good things about it as it was releasing, and I thought I might as well check it out, and I watched the full 8 episodes in one day. I loved it. What a first season Invincible has. I think it's a great season. No, the animation isn't amazing in the first season, and it was a great storyline. The whole Mark and his father being an Omni-Man, being not even evil. I mean, yeah, being evil. It was just such an interesting, fresh, new concept. Because I remember around this time, because you gotta remember, this was when The Boys was releasing. This was when Invincible came out. And this was right after that real Marvel fatigue really started setting in. People really loved this whole new fresh taste on superheroes. It was so refreshing. I mean, it's just objectively true. This is what people are saying at the time, me included. And it was refreshing. It actually was. Even though Invincible did come out a long time ago, I still think the animated show, that first season, was such a breath of fresh air in the industry. Now, all that is to say, they have fucking fumbled the bag. I don't even know if it's fully fumbled. I just don't think Invincible's story is that great overall. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to go into that right at this moment. That's going to be later for the video. But I kind of wanted to record this intro. I wanted to just quickly get this out of the way, that I did really like season 1. There is definitely parts of Invincible that I really like. And I'm not here to hate, just to hate. I truly am not trying to just be like with shit on something because other people are shitting on. But I feel like I want the best out of this show and the quality of it, and I'm not gonna just hate to hate, is really what I'm trying to get across here. So without any more talking and yapping, let's get straight into the video. Now, I want to talk about animation first, because I think it's such a crucial part of the discussion surrounding the show. I did record this part a bit earlier, but I kind of just went on a rant and rambled because I didn't put any structure towards this. So I think I'm gonna let's try to keep this concise. I don't want to over yap on this topic, because I feel like most people know enough and they don't need to hear the same things over and over again. So I'll keep it short and concise about pretty much every season right here. Season 1 had consistent, okay animation. Didn't have an issue with it. Could have been better. I remember thinking the animation was good. Nothing like it. It was alright. For some context, I was recently only had gone into anime at the end of 2020. I'd watched Black Clover and Naruto, and I think I was watching Naruto and One Punch Man, which One Punch Man is really well animated, but I wasn't really. I hadn't watched too much amazing animation in my life. It's not like I hadn't seen good animation before, and I knew Invincibles wasn't anything that crazy. But at the time, I kind of just I didn't have a problem with it because it was consistently okay. And I don't think it needed to be anything more than that. It was a season 1 of a new show that they were trying out. There was no guaranteed success of the animated show. I completely understood how it looked. And it was fine. They just needed to take what they knew, take the criticisms, and improve upon it in the next season, and then we would be all fine. However, that didn't happen. So season 2 rolled around. Now, I don't know if people remember this, I feel like most people would. Season 2 was cut into half released, and then I think like a month or something later. I don't know how long, I forgot the time gap in between. But there was a big gap, and then the second half released. The animation was just not good enough on either halves of the season 2. It left a bad taste in my mouth. I know some people enjoyed the season. I think at that point, people didn't care as much. I think some people assumed it would get better and better, the animation, as they rightfully should have. It was getting more and more popular. It didn't. But anyways, season 2 was alright. I can't lie. Season 2 honestly probably is my least favorite season of the show. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe on a rewatch, no. But on first watch, yes. Season 3 came along. I was like, season 3 has to be where they lock in. Really, they have to they have to do something different, man. The animation really was, it was not good, man. It just wasn't up to the snuff. It wasn't up to snuff, to be honest. It wasn't that good. Now, I know some people are going to say, oh, but the Conquest fight, man. What, Jawson? The Conquest fight. The Conquest fight is okay. I'm sorry to burst the bubble of people who haven't watched more than 10 animated shows, but it's alright, but it's not anything to write home about, man. And I wouldn't be so crucial and critical of it if the whole show looked like it. But that's what I'm saying. For most animated shows, the standard is they look like the Conquest fight through most of it. And that's not to say every fucking scene needs to have some really in-depth fluid animation. It should have some good fluid animation in most of the scenes, but Invincible has this real big issue of how they just use, it just feels like PNGs of these characters and to just move them across and drag them across the screen. It's insane. And I want to recall season 3 is also the same season where Rex is, I don't want to spoil, major spoiler here. Rex dies, and there's the funeral, and they're just PNGs, man. It's bad. That's the same season as Conquest, guys. It's just not a good season of animation. So I finished season 3. I was pretty off the train of Invincible, I'll be honest. I wasn't really in love with it. Not like the way I was in season 1. Season 1 was truly something different, something new. Season 4 came out this year. Hype for me was at a pretty low level. I was excited to see some of the stuff in the comics because I've read the comics, and I was excited to see some of the stuff that would happen in the season in animated format. But that's when you remember you're watching Invincible, and the animation's worse than the fucking comic. Season 4 just was not good at all for animation. People are going to point out the Thrag, the fights there, Conquest again. Yeah, there was some cool animation moments there, but I think that's pretty standard for what a fight should be in an animated format. I'm watching an animated show. I expect the animation to be somewhat good in important moments, especially when it's so bad throughout most of the season. I don't think I should be complimenting or even congratulating them for doing the bare minimum for a good fight. Guys, I'm serious. I'm not in that mindset where I'm going to praise something because then they wouldn't be getting praise if it wasn't the rest of the show didn't look so ass. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my quick overall view of the animation in Invincible. I'm not going to go too much into the depth because I can't lie. I'm not to sound egotistical, but I'm pretty sure, I'm just confidently right about this. I think most people who have watched a lot of animation, they know what I'm saying here. Because I mean, since 2021, I've watched a lot of animes, and that's not to say, Invincible needs to be anime and follow the same working conditions as a lot of these anime studios, but it's to say that I've seen a lot better animation and a lot more consistently okay animation. I would An example I would give you is, I would, like, season 2 of One Punch Man is absolutely hated. Absolutely, well, not, okay. People don't really like it as much as season 1, for good reason, I think. People really shit on the animation of that season, though. Season 2's animation in One Punch Man is, I think, 15 times better than the animation in Invincible. That's how much, that's just how mediocre Invincible's animation is. So, that's good. If you haven't watched One Punch Man or you don't know anything about that, then I guess they won't mean much to you. And, you know what I mean? It's fine. You don't need to know all that, but it's just, the animation's just mid, man. So, that's my feelings about all the animation. I don't want to go too much into it. I mean, I've been talking about it for like 7 minutes now, but no. The animation isn't up to snuff. It's not as good as it should be. This show makes way too much money. The show has way too much fans to be so unbelievably mediocre when it comes to animation. I'm sorry to break this to you, but time and money is not all that matters when it comes to animation, guys. I know people say they need to hire more animators and they could do much better in with a year. And I mean, yeah, you would be technically right, of course. It would look better if there's more animators in that same time frame. So they should do that. I'm not disagreeing. They should do that. But animation takes time, man. A year still isn't enough. Like, it's just a year, maybe give it 2 years a season. I just think that's a much better way of doing it. You get double the quality, right? And not even double. That's not really how animation works. It's not like, oh, an extra year, so you double the quality of the first year. But that's not how it works. It just allows the authors and the creators to go more into depth with what they have to offer. They can create something more original, something more unique. Every sequence can feel different. For me, I'm looking for a reason for the Invincible animated show to exist beyond just being an adaptation so they can make money through it. I want to see a reason the animated fucking format exists. I want there to be a reason I pick the animated format over the comic format, because I prefer animated shows and movies and all that. I prefer live action or animation over books and comics any day, for me personally. That's not to say that's objective, but it's just how I feel. And most of the times, that's just how it is. But Invincible's situation, it isn't. And that says something, man. So, overall, yeah, animation not great, but that's not all I want to go over in this video. That's kind of the main topic people discuss around it, but I've got a couple more things I want to talk about with Invincible, and I think a lot of people can agree with how I'm feeling. So yeah, without further ado, let's go on to the next part of the video. The next thing I want to go over is kind of a mix of the story and the power scaling. So it's kind of two different things, but I'm going to combine them into one because I can do what I want. One of the biggest complaints I've had since Season 2, not Season 1, Season 1 made sense for this to be an issue. Season 2 to Season 4, Mark has been super inconsistent with his power. Now, I'm not saying, oh, we need power scaling to be perfect. Oh, guys, I need it to be super hype or power scaling. But I need it to be consistent. I need it to be logical. I need there to be a Mark beats this person, and this person's weaker than this other person, or this person, okay. I need there to be some logic. For example, Mark beats this person, and that person he beat is stronger than this other little pissant. But then Mark loses to that pissant in a straight power battle. It doesn't make sense, because you're ruining all the stakes and the build-up of Mark training, him getting stronger, if you're going to inconsistently keep making him lose things he shouldn't be losing. I know some people are pretty defensive on this topic, but I mean, I don't know why. It's not like it's an opinion. It just does happen. It's just annoying. It's just Mark, for some reason, and this was a meme for a bit, especially in Season 3, Mark just loses all the time. And I get it, but I also don't care that that's the way it's written, because it's just not it's just not a good way of writing. I expect Mark to grow stronger and to be consistent. That's not a I'm asking for too much. That's asking for just some basic writing. That's just basic writing, man. For things to flow, logic to apply in this universe. Because if it doesn't, then what's the point? What's the stakes? Every fight feels like oh, the author decides that person wins and that happens. And that's how stories work, guys. I understand that. Stories are whoever an author decides wins. But an author decides who wins based on something, based off how strong that character is. The character's importance to the story, the relevance that impact of him losing or winning, or her, has on the story, right? It's not, there has to be logic, or else it just feels like there's no impact. You know what I mean? If I had to use a pretty good example, I guess, it would be like Luke Skywalker fighting Darth Vader, beating Darth Vader, especially in the Return of the Jedi. He beats Vader in Return of the Jedi. Insane moment. He's stronger than Darth Vader, but then he loses to some random Padawan. You know what I mean? That's the level of where I'm like, that doesn't make sense. That person is stronger than a person, and they've displayed that. This isn't a non-complaint. This is a serious, important complaint that really affects the show, man. I don't think people understand that it's very important that a show maintains its own logic. Invincible does not do that. I ended that little bit there abruptly because I'm like, I don't want to go too much over myself here, guys. I think you get the picture, right? It's just I wanted to make sure people realize that it is an actual complaint. It's an important complaint. But another thing that somewhat has to do with it is the story overall. Guys, the story is only getting worse, and as a comic reader, it's going to keep getting worse. I'm not going to spoil anything, because I imagine many Invincible fans who've watched this show haven't really read all the comics or even read the comics, and that's not a bad thing. You're watching the show. That's kind of the point, right? You don't need to read. You shouldn't be expected to have to read the other thing to understand. But no, like, the story really has gone downhill. Season 1, I think that was one of the best contained stories I had ever seen from a superhero format. Just in the way I really loved Omni-Man, the way it worked with Mark, him being growing up, wanting to be like his dad, the way everything was just so new for me, fresh. Obviously, it's inspired by the whole, by Superman, like the Ultramites and Omni-Man, but inspiration is not a bad thing. It was great. Honestly, I really liked that story of season 1. I thought it was really cool and interesting. Season 2 dealt with the fallout of that. I don't think it was written all that well, if I'm being honest. I don't think it was the greatest, but it was good. It was okay. But they spent half a season. The first 4 episodes were kind of just dealing with the fallout of that, right? Then they cut it off halfway through, and then just after a month, I forget exactly the time difference, then they released the next couple episodes, which kind of just shifted everything to a new... It kind of changed, it continued it, but kind of didn't. It was weird. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that it was split up, season 2, so the story kind of felt disjointed. And if they released all the season 2 at the same time, I think it would have been much better. And fuck them, by the way, for doing that. Like, anyone defending that shit, fuck them, bro. Genuinely, that shit was such dog shit behavior from a company. The reason, if you don't know, that they separated the season up that way is just so they can keep subscriptions. I'm dead ass. That's exactly what they did. They just did it so they can keep subscriptions. It wasn't for no anime. No, it wasn't for any of that. The animation was dog shit that season. There was no. They actually just did that so they can get more subscriptions for Prime. And I'm not blaming the animators or Robert Kirkman, which, I mean, maybe I'm blaming him for a lot of other things, but that's Amazon, and that's the problem with being with Amazon. But I can excuse it, because maybe season 3 is good. The story in season 3 was ass, man. Season 3 sucked story-wise, man. Nobody can tell me differently. Season 3 was fucking awful story-wise. Nothing happened. It was the most... I'm going to... But season 3 fucking sucked when it comes to story. Conquest he just comes out of nowhere. It's not like there's any build-up for that. Anissa is there as well. I forgot about her being in the start of the season. She's there, then Conquest is there. There's no real good story. The character development of him and Amber, and him and Eve, dog shit. Most of it is just so stupidly written. It's, oh bro, I'm getting pissed thinking about it. It just isn't good. Half the episodes are disjointed individual stories that aren't really all that good and don't mean that much and don't matter that much. And it all leads to conquest coming. You could remove half of the shit that happened before and it just be the fucking conquest fight, and it would still have the same impact as the whole season story-wise. Ooh. I am just, I can see the audio bar for when I started talking about season 3 story, and it's just lit up. But oh my god, I really just annoyed by season 3's story. Season 4, ass. We have got to be realistic, people. Invincible fans, I get it. The story isn't ass. You know what I mean? It's mid. And to me, that's just as bad, because fuck you mean mid. I ain't watching mid. I don't want it to be mid. Wow. There's some good moments in season 4. There's some cool ideas in season 4. There's cool ideas throughout season 2 to 4. With some of the way they deal with Mark's emotions, some of the way they deal with the fallout of Omni-Man, the way they deal with Debbie, everything. Oliver is a mid character, but everything. There were so many cool ideas they could have gone through, and nothing lands because it's not well written. Nothing advances in the right. It's just mid. One episode was filler in an 8-episode season of a television show that is poorly animated, that they get 1 year to animate. They animated a fucking filler episode. A filler episode in a year's time. They had a year to animate 8 episodes, right? An hour-long 8 episodes, right? They don't get much time at all. There isn't, they could have released 7 episodes, spent much more time on each of their episodes more, get all of that time they spent in hell, right? That whole episode. Spend the time that you spent on that animating the rest of the fucking season, please. Do not release dog shit and then add filler in the middle of it. What are you doing, man? Oh, I'm sorry. Look, I'm getting heated. And obviously some people are going to be like, oh, you're just hating now, man. It's not ass. Look, I'm over-exaggerating, okay, obviously for dramatic effect. It's not ass. It's just really stupid. You have a year to animate I'm reiterating this because I want people to really understand what I'm trying to say here without bullshit and me just over-exaggerating. They had a year to animate the season 4. They had a year. Year after season 3 came out. They didn't have that much time to animate. The animators, and then they make a filler episode. A filler episode. They have a year. The animation is ass. Mid ass. Ass to mid. Ass. It's just ass. The animation is ass. They have a year. And they spend God knows how many hours of that year on a filler episode that means nothing to the story. How infuriating is that? That is a spit into the face of anybody that wants any halfway decent animation. You're telling me you had a year and you spent how much on a fucking filler episode? Pissing me off. You spent how much money on this show just to release a filler episode? Spend that much money on voice actors for a filler episode. A filler, people. Filler is filler. It's filler. Naruto released filler because there was no actual show to be animated yet. They were writing it still. That's why you released filler. Not when you had the whole fucking thing finished already. What is the point of filler in a finished comic? Wow, man. This is just a very annoying topic for me personally. I just get heated over this because, wow, it's like a spit in the face, dude. I really liked Invincible, and it just keeps spitting in my face. Now, obviously, it's not that serious. It's an animated show at the end of the day. Who really cares all that much? But, yeah. This is one more thing I want to go over before the end of the video, before I kind of conclude. And that's just its comparisons to anime and how some anime fans and Invincible fans have been acting around that. So I've come down a bit. And this is kind of, for me at least, an important thing I want to talk about. And that's the way anime fans and Invincible fans have compared and talked about anime. in comparison to Invincible, of course. Because JJK, I think, right, was releasing at the same time Invincible was, there was a lot of direct comparisons, and as there should be, JJK is animated very well. So a lot of people have been using JJK like, oh guys, look at JJK, man. It's so much better than Invincible. You wouldn't be wrong. It is quite a bit better than Invincible, but it is kind of annoying to see people use, oh, JJK, better than Invincible. Yeah, but what, come on, man. Like, we're not going to use one of the better animes, like, one of the best animes releasing at the moment, and act like that's a fair comparison, guys. Especially for animation standards, especially in an industry where they are overworked, underpaid, and treated like shit. Okay? Oh, I don't think it's the most fair comparison to make, right? But at the same time, what I will give you is that JJK should be used as somewhat of a comparison because they're releasing at the same time and they're both animated shows. I do think there should be some comparison, but I think people are just taking things out of context and just to argue for the sake of it. This is for my people who are kind of like anime fans and really love to, like, who shit on Invincible and kind of use different animes like JJK as an example, where it's like a really like, oh fuck, look how much better this is. I think you kind of have to, because you kind of just come off as a dick, let's be honest, if you're just saying that. Like, oh look, this show better. Like, come on, man. Like, I think there's a better way to approach it. You got to kind of understand that if you're an Invincible fan and you haven't watched much anime, hearing someone say, but look, this thing is better, isn't going to make you think, oh, this sucks, right? No one's going to be like, oh, Invincible sucks now because JJK is good. And no one's going to think that for a couple of reasons. One, because it's not really a good argument. One's better than the other, yeah, but just, I mean, you could sit there and say, look, Interstellar, look, it's better than The Martian, guys, for these reasons, That doesn't make The Martian not a fire fucking movie, you know what I mean? That's not going to persuade someone to think that movie they like is not good, right? Or needs fixing of any sort. So I think a lot of people kind of just jump on that as some sort of argument, like the JJK better. No. I think what you got to look towards is kind of a better comparison of shows. Maybe you look even closer to Western animation, guys, because a lot of people who don't watch anime think it's just a whole different thing. It's just Japanese people animating, mate. It's the same as just Western people, Americans animating, right? Same thing. So maybe compare it to something like Avatar, right? Avatar: The Last Airbender is a great show, man. Great show. Amazing. Not amazing. Well, it's well written. Has very surprisingly pretty good damn animation. Like, consistently good animation. And it's a kid's show. It even has even more of a reason to not be as good. So, and it clears Invincible in pretty much every measurable way. You kind of got to look at it like something like that. Compare it to something like that, because comparing it to something like JJK is not going to get you anywhere. I think most of them know that and are just saying it because they're just wanting to hate. I get it. But yeah, I've just seen a lot of that. It's just, but then at the same time, for Invincible fans, guys, anime is a fair comparison, right? Because guess what? There is really no big difference between fucking anime and a cartoon. You want to know why? Because in anime, it's just Japanese cartoons. The only difference is one's being animated in Japan. The other difference is that one's being animated in fucking America or the UK or wherever the fuck you want to animate it. There's no real big difference. It's not a difference, right? There's different standards of quality in Japan. There's different... Culturally, they prefer different things, so there's usually different genres and a mix of elements, like a lot of over-sexualization of characters, which is unfortunate, but that happens a lot. There's a reason things are different, but guys, Invincible compared to a lot of the best animes, we can't have this discussion. I've seen way too many people say Invincible is up there with some of the best. It's not. I want to say we need to be realistic, guys. Invincible doesn't touch the best animes. Doesn't even come close. Now, I'm not saying Invincible needs to, because saying something needs to be one of the best anime shows ever is crazy, right? But guys, Invincible doesn't have a singular quality that is better than One Piece, man. Maybe, I guess you could say pacing, but even then, like, I would still rather watch the pacing of One Piece, you know what I mean, than Invincible. Guys, Invincible is not, it's not up there. It's not one of the best animated shows. It's not one of the best shows. It's not one of the best. It's not in the top 50 best animated shows, guys. We need to be realistic here. I think what annoys me the most with it is just that it feels like so many people just say things to either get a reaction. There's the anime fans who are just saying shit just so they can annoy Invincible fans. And also, these aren't like, it's not like if you're an Invincible fan, you're not an anime fan. You can be both. I am both. There's many people who are both, but there's a lot of people who aren't as well. And you got to remember that Invincible's fucking popular, man. There's a lot. Bro, my uni teacher was watching Invincible. People in my class are watching Invincible. My friends are watching Invincible. Random people I've never met are watching Invincible. People you wouldn't think would watch a show like this are watching Invincible. Invincible's really popular. You got to realize that, and there's going to be a lot of people that haven't experienced many of great animation and don't understand that it's not as good because they haven't seen many other good things. And that's not to say, right, that they can't enjoy the show and you have to say, oh, don't enjoy it, man, look, it's bad. I think it's more, you kind of have to expect a better quality. Because I've seen a lot of people say, well, guys, we don't have to wait 3 years or 4 years between each season of the show to go. No, man, no one's saying that. No one's saying an unreasonable amount of time, but that's not like what Arcane is well animated, and they released 2 seasons, didn't they? It just, why are we expecting different things from Invincible? Why does Invincible get a pass from a lot of these people when it comes to animation standards and the writing? It seems people just want to defend it for the sake of it instead of actually asking for improvements. Robert Kirkman doesn't need to upgrade the animation. You want to know why? Because people like big dick writers don't care. They seem to just ignore it and just act like it's non-existent. And I get it, mate. If you enjoy Invincible as is, good for you, man. Good for you. I'm happy that you can enjoy it. But I personally cannot sit here and act like I'm enjoying the show when it looks as bad as it does. It genuinely makes the show really just not very fun to watch for me. And that's simple. And as much as you can say, well, I like it, cool. But I have the same opinion to not like that. And I don't think it's too much to ask for an extra year and more budget towards animators rather than voice actors. Because I'm not going to go into that whole debacle of voice actors. I think everyone can agree that why the fuck are we spending millions on voice actors, especially with such little roles? That's a no-brainer. I think everyone can agree with that. And if you don't agree with that, then holy shit, you are a lost cause. So, yeah. Look, this whole segment here was just to say, guys, saying JJK better is not going to get you anywhere. It's not a good argument. It's not, what are you exactly bringing? You kind of have to actually explain why the Invincible's animation is not the standard, not just for Japanese animation, but for Western animation. So I think that's an important part of the discourse I've been seeing a lot recently, which is why I partly made this video, because the discourse is just getting so insane, and it's just wild. So yeah. Keep that in mind. But yeah, let's wrap this video up. So yeah, that's my end of my rant/video. I just needed to get this off my chest, guys. It's a bit of a long one, longer than my usual videos, but I guess that makes sense considering that I had not made a video in a long time. Well, I made that, but anyway, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed. If you made it this far through my ramblings, if you're an Invincible fan, you're gonna leave a comment with hate. At least please offer something of intelligence. Not to sound like a dick, but like, please, man. I've seen so many Invincible fans who, and just, it's people in general, it's fans in general, but online, so many people who just, I'm not hating on Invincible just to hate. I want better, I expect better from it, because it's shown it can be better. It's shown it can be that good. It's shown it can be consistent. It's decisions from Amazon and decisions from the creator that have hurt it. Right. That's the problem. So, yeah. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I had a fun time recording this. So yeah, maybe I'll make some more videos like this. Maybe I'll even cover more Invincible again. The new Invincible game comes out, so I might play that. Maybe give a little review on it. It does look pretty cool, I won't lie. The actual game looks better than the show. And I'm not exaggerating in any singular way. The game does look better. So, well, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.